The vastness of the sky that stretches above the savanna is not merely a scenic backdrop, but a silent witness to the histories buried beneath the red earth. And true belonging requires not claiming the land as your own, but allowing the land to claim the parts of yourself you have spent a lifetime trying to outrun. In Under an African Sky, Elene Catrakilis delivers a literary saga that transforms the Return to Roots narrative into a profound exploration of post-colonial identity and intergenerational healing, proving that in landscapes shaped by both beauty and brutality, home isn't found in nostalgia. It's forged in the radical act of reconciling privilege with pain when memory demands you choose between them. This isn't merely another evocative tale of expatriate longing. It's a psychologically precise narrative where every sunset feels like both benediction and reckoning. Consent to belong is negotiated through accountability rather than assumed heritage, and love means honoring the complexity of place when romance demands you simplify it. From the first Dust and Jasmine narration, listeners are immersed in a world where silence is history and presence is the only true inheritance. Perfect for fans of emotionally intelligent literary fiction and stories where female agency defies colonial expectations, this audiobook serves up atmospheric reverence, relentless emotional honesty, and protagonists whose journey from displaced observer to integrated daughter resonates with anyone who's ever felt torn between the world they left and the world that lives in their blood. When architect Alara Vance returns to her grandmother's farm in the Karoo after decades abroad, she expects sentimental closure, not to discover the crumbling homestead mirrors the exact fragmentation she's endured beneath years of performative cosmopolitanism, and the local historian Julian Thorne's quiet refusal to romanticize the past creates space for a connection that defies expatriate fantasy. But as they navigate drought-stricken fields and buried family secrets, Alara realizes this homecoming isn't about restoration, it's about recalibration. Catrakilis masterfully avoids reducing Alara to guilty returnee or Julian to noble local. Instead, she crafts a relationship rooted in radical reciprocity with constraint, where trust is earned through honoring boundaries even as desire blurs them, and where intimacy emerges from seeing each other beyond assigned roles. The audiobook narration amplifies this emotional alchemy, capturing Alara's disciplined composure fracturing into fierce clarity, and Julian's guarded intensity revealing warmth beneath stoic vigilance. You don't just hear their bond deepen, you feel the seismic heft of two souls learning that some roots can only be claimed when you stop demanding they validate you. What elevates Under an African Sky beyond typical return to roots fare is its nuanced portrayal of post-colonial landscape as collaborative testimony rather than romanticized wilderness. Alara isn't merely reclaiming heritage, she's confronting how expatriate culture taught her to equate worth with distance, challenging the notion that safety requires aestheticizing struggle. Julian doesn't ground her through folklore. He creates sanctuary where her contradictions can exist without diminishment, honoring her autonomy even as his own community's wounds surface. Their relationship evolves through acts of radical reciprocity, sharing silences during twilight veranda vigils that bypass performance, establishing rhythms that protect both historical integrity and emotional safety, and defending each other from relatives who mistake evolution for betrayal. Supporting characters add vital texture: farm workers whose loyalty encodes suppressed grief, elders whose wisdom carries intergenerational weight, even the Karoo itself, rendered as living archive whose ancient stones absorb centuries of unspoken bargains. Every interaction reinforces the novel's core truth. In landscapes shaped by extraction, tenderness is technique, and presence is the only sustainable resource. Even the literary mechanics serve the nautic depth, with architectural restoration mirroring emotional attunement and seasonal cycles becoming metaphors for earned trust. For audiobook listeners, this production is an immersive sensory descent into elemental intimacy. The narrator embodies Alara and Julian with remarkable distinction. Alara's voice carries weathered intelligence laced with dawning sovereignty, while Julian's low timbre trembles with suppressed tenderness beneath disciplined cadence, making their chemistry palpable even during conflict. Sound design enhances atmosphere without overwhelming immersion. Distant cicadas marking temporal rhythm, rain against corrugated iron during vulnerable confessions, the hushed rustle of dry grass sinking with breath during moments of clarity, all anchor mythic stakes in tangible reality. Pacing mirrors the cadence of ecological and emotional recovery, deliberate during reflection and alliance building, then surging with urgency as external pressures collide with internal awakenings. Whether you're commuting through urban landscapes or sitting in twilight solitude, the audiobook creates a portable sanctuary where slowness feels sacred and embodiment feels lifeline. It's storytelling as somatic validation, transforming passive listening into active participation in a journey where healing isn't found in escape, but in embrace. Ultimately, Under an African Sky redefines literary fiction by centering female epistemology within post-colonial frameworks. It satisfies genre cravings for lush prose and cathartic resolution, while delivering substantive commentary on inherited trauma, masculine vulnerability, and the radical act of building partnerships based on mutual recognition rather than rescue. No prior series knowledge is needed. It stands confidently as a complete emotional odyssey. If you've ever wondered whether belonging can coexist with accountability, or if true strength requires embracing what others sanitize, this audiobook will affirm that sometimes the most powerful act is simply staying under the sky. Press play, step onto the red earth, and prepare to believe that even in landscapes shaped by loss, hearts still find ways to root. Your next favorite literary novel isn't waiting in perfect homecomings. It's waiting in the brave, trembling choice to honor the whole truth.